Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today I have some exciting things to share with you and I'm gonna break down how to paint 6 different succulents in a very easy manner. So let's go! Alright, so the thing that I want to share with you is this beautiful little box here. It's a South African company and they give an art subscription box every month. So we've got a print here of an art piece that I made a while ago, and the theme for this box is frostbitten. So there's also a sticker somewhere around here. We unpack this and then I'll show you what's in here. Oh, here's the sticker. It's a sticker of a little skiing cactus. And I think it just came out fantastic with the print as well, and I am so excited about this. And then they put in some acrylic paints. I've never tried this before. Lukas Cryl Studio Mint. So we're going to be using all of these supplies when we're making the art. Iris, acrylics, an acrylic paint marker, which is something that I have never used, so that's interesting, and a pencil and this cute little canvas. So my plan is to go along and paint a whole bunch of cacti on this canvas pad, and then we're going to choose one and do it on that little cute tiny canvas thing. Let's do it. I just went along and got some things. I have a polystyrene thing to put some paints on. I have a bunch of brushes. I also got some white acrylic paint that might come in handy, and a cup of water to wash my brushes in. I'm just going to squeeze it out there. Okay, so we have this grey, and then we have this mint color. This looks like a lovely creamy acrylic, so I'm definitely excited to try it out. It's actually lighter than I thought, so I don't know if we will need the white, but I'm just going to add a little bit of white on my palette. We'll try to not use it, but if we need to use it, we will. I think my camera is a bit broken. First I'm going for the mint green color, and I'm just painting the basic shapes of the cacti, and we'll be filling in the details a little bit later. The first shape is kind of an oblong circle or an oval or a rectangle with rounded corners. I don't really know what to call it, but it's cactus shape. Okay, and the one after that is a squished circle or a dome that has rounded corners at the bottom. It's basically the shape of a piece of ice cream on top of the cone. If you have those little cartoon things, pictures, you call them pictures on any. Okay, if you have a cartoon picture of ice cream, it's kind of that shape. And then we're heading for the opuntia, which is an upside down teardrop type of shape, and to that teardrop shape we're attaching another teardrop shape that's a little bit smaller than the first one, and then 2 small ones that's almost like panda bear ears. Did you notice that the EA in bear and in ear are said differently? Why, English, why? And then the last shape is one small one on the left side, just to balance the whole thing out so that it doesn't look like it wants to fall one way the whole time. Alright, for the next cactus we're going to have some long triangles that are thick at the bottom and thin at the top. These can curve a little bit in to the center, almost like a pole of grass, or what else? Like an upside down squid. Almost, but less like squiggly, just curvy. After that we have some more rounded rectangle cactus shapes, but this time more than one in one pot. So we flatten the bottom because that is where the pot is going to be. For all of the ones above, we've also flattened the bottom. I forgot to add that part, but the pot will be there, so you can paint it and just paint over it. That's the nice thing about acrylic paint, but you can also just not waste your own time. Yeah. And then lastly, another cactus shaped thing, but now we are adding a crooked arm going out to the one side, the typical Mexican cactus shape. And make sure that it's kind of 90 degrees when it's bending out and up, just so that it doesn't look weird. Yeah, that's it for the basic shapes. Now we're going in with the grey for the pots. So every pot is basically the same. We have a horizontal rectangle that is bigger than the bottom of the cactus, and we have a smaller upside down trapezoid underneath that. If you don't know what a trapezoid looks like, it's basically a square that got liposuction at the bottom. So painting these pots are really easy. You have two shapes, pretty straightforward. Don't need to waste time on this. I'm going to try to use this graphite pencil and this acrylic paint marker interchangeably to shade the cacti, and we're going to see how it's working, and it'll give us an idea of what to do on the final one. Now I'm outlining some of these cacti with my pencil. You can use any pencil for this, by the way. In fact, I think it would look really cute if you use different colored pencils for this, or even this whole thing you can make different colors. I'm just doing it in grey and green because I want to try to use only the things that were in the box, but you guys can use anything you want. I also kind of want to make it colorful now. Anyway, outlining these cacti and also adding a shadow on the bottom left of each pot on the pot, and then also adding a shadow as a drop shadow that's underneath and to the side of the pot. I decided to switch it up a bit and also do the same with the green marker, so I'm just outlining the whole pot and the cactus with the green marker on this first one. But it came out a little funky, so I decided with the chunky cactus, I'm just outlining the mint green parts with the green marker and then outlining the pot with the grey pencil. And I actually quite like how that turned out. But I also quite like the funkiness, so I added the funkiness back into the picture for the last cactus. Then I'm going in with the grey pencil to shadow the first cactus. I'm doing it by making long vertical triangles that are small at the top and big at the bottom, and they just give some dimension to the shadowy part. And after that, I'm trying my hand with the green marker on the second one. I feel like this one came out a little bit wonky, but that's fine. I'm basically just trying to make crescent shapes that are larger at the bottom than they are at the top, and the concave sides are facing to the middle, and then the middle one is not a crescent shape. It's... what do you call these shapes? I don't know how to name shapes. They didn't teach me this in primary school. It's a pointy oval. Yeah, the middle one is a pointy oval. I also add a bit more green to the bottom of the cactus because that part is a little bit more shaded if we're thinking the light comes from the top right part of the page. Now it's the fun part, and that is drawing all of the dots on the opuntia. Opuntia? Is that how you say it? I think so. I hope so. I try to space out these dots as evenly as possible. I think in nature they're also spaced evenly, but I'm not even sure. Now I'm trying to think what these cacti look like, but I don't know. And I'm kind of jumping between cacti now, just adding details to every one and getting them all finished. So I'm adding some slightly curvy lines to the cactus down here in the corner. And I make these lines follow the curves of the cactus as well as being slightly crescent shaped. But they're only crescent shaped at the top. So actually the lines are just meeting each other at the top, although they aren't really, because I'm not drawing them all the way up, but they should look as if they really want to kind of meet one another, if that makes sense. Okay, that's it for the green pen for now. Now I want to experiment with the graphite pencil a little bit. I draw some dashed lines on this bunch of cacti here at the bottom to simulate thorns following a path. I don't know if you've seen cacti before in your life, ever, but oftentimes they have a ridge, well, more than one ridge, and on that ridge you'll find the thorns. So the thorns follow the path of the ridge, which makes them in a straight line. But not all cacti are like this, but these ones are. So we're doing that. I also think a little bit of green is necessary to amp this cactus up a bit. So I thought it would be fun to add a green highlight to the pot, and so much for me saying that I'm putting this marker down again now, because I'm literally picking it up again now. Let's move on to the spiky one. I want to add shadows with the graphite pencil. So I try to concentrate the shadows around the bottom left of each leaf, almost making them triangle shaped, following the shape of the leaf, basically. And I feel like that works okay-ish. And then the chunky one caught my eye again. So I decided it will also look quite nice with some dots. So we're going back in again with that green marker that I can't seem to leave alone, and adding dots to it, also in a straight-ish line that follows the imaginary ridge that we have on it. Pretty straightforward. And also this time adding a few spikes to the top of this cactus to make it look cute. And I actually love these little spikes, so we're also adding it to the last cactus. As I said, this is the part where I'm just experimenting more with adding some things and some details here and there. So I thought that the first cactus can also do with some green added to it. So I'm just adding some green into the shadows. And then I go back to adding some pencil lines and shadows to the last cactus again, and drawing over the nice funky green lines that I drew earlier to see what the effect will be if I use both to line. So yeah, it's just experimenting. Now we have these 6 cacti, and now I need to decide which one will go onto this little canvasy thing. I think I actually really like the only one on here that's not a cactus, the aloe vera or aloe something, I don't know if it's aloe vera, little plant. I also really like the rest, but I think we're gonna go with this one, and we're gonna change it just a little bit so that it has shading that's more similar to this one. Let's do that. In this final little painting, I basically followed the same steps that I did in those other 6. So first painting the shapes with the mint green, adding in the pot, lining the whole thing, adding some green. So after that, things got a little bit messy and then my camera stopped recording. So yeah, follow the steps of the first 6 that I made, not the final one. The final one isn't the best one. It didn't really come out the way that I wanted to, and I feel like you already learned how to make these succulents from that one. So I'll consider it a win, and that's it for this video.
Hello, I'm going to poke you.